Hi, welcome to SarahJane Creates. I'm Sarah. I thought as we're stuck at home at the moment, now's a good time to try some new things. So this is my new thing, my first ever video tutorial. So good luck. It might be a bit clumpy, but we'll get there in the end. So I was thinking about things that we could do easily, things that we might have in the store cupboard that we can utilise, and I came up with a nice activity for the kids, which is to make this. It's a little Easter sheep. It's not easy to see because I'm not great with the lighting, but essentially it is Cadbury's cream egg or similar. You do need a solid egg like this, using some mini marshmallows, also using a tiny bit of chocolate. So this is some chocolate that's already been melted that will be reused, so just a handful of chocolate buttons would be fine. For the eyes, I'm using some black pearls, but don't worry, if you haven't got those, you can easily get hold of these, which are edible markers. Thin one end normally, thick the other. You will need a small quantity of ready roll icing, which you might have left over from doing cakes at Christmas or birthday cakes, or just making models generally. And if you do have some food colouring, brilliant, but if not, don't worry. The amount of modelling paste you'll need is probably around 20 grams, so really not much. You'll need a couple of tools, obviously a bowl to make your chocolate in. You will need a knife. I've got one of these. This is just a cake decorating tool, but for any sort of straight bladed knife, could be like a butter knife or a vegetable knife. You're only cutting paste with it, so it doesn't have to be too fantastic a blade. I have one of these. This is called a smile tool. You can see the edge. Yeah, it's got this kind of smiley side to it. We're going to use that shape for the face of the sheep. If you don't have one of those, please don't rush out and buy one. Use something else. A straw. Well, I'm sure we've all got some of these lurking in our cupboards. So this particular straw, if you can see very carefully, if I hold it there, it's shaped at one end, so it's kind of tapered. That's perfect. If you've only got straws that have got, I can't show you, the rounded flat end, you can cut it in half this way, lengthways, and that will give you that nice U shape. But even if you haven't got that, don't worry. Okay, so now we've got everything that we need. Obviously we need to make sure we've got one more really important thing, other than clean hands and an apron. We do also need to make sure that we've got a damp cloth so that we can wipe our fingers from excess chocolate, because it will go everywhere. So now we're ready. Got everything we need. It did occur to me while I was getting everything ready that if it was a bit tricky using the knife to cut the marshmallows, then just a pair of kitchen scissors would be fine. Don't use craft scissors, as there might be things that you've used the craft scissors for and then you're using it with a food item. So if you can avoid it, please do. Please just use food products for food products. Okay, so first things first. Take our egg, unwrap it. What do we notice? It rolls. So we've got to deal with this. So we're going to give our sheep feet. Take a chunk of ready roll. Okay, you want about a 5 gram chunk. See how big it is in relation to perhaps my finger, or even in relation to the egg. If you've got grey food colouring, by all means colour it, but don't worry too much because you really won't see it. Roll it into a ball. If you're finding it a bit sticky, you can use either icing sugar or corn flour to stop it sticking. I prefer to use corn flour because whilst you do get some coverage over your work surfaces, you don't get the stickiness. So roll it into a ball, pop it on your board and just gently flatten it out. I've got my chocolate, I've put it into a little dish here over some hot water. because then what you're going to do when you've rolled it into kind of a cylindery shape, just carefully dip it into the chocolate a little bit and attach it to your egg. Give it a couple of seconds, push it on, chocolate will set, you can push your egg into it and you've got a foot, a big foot. Okay, that's our first bit done. So we're using, I've just stuck myself to the mat, we're going to use the pointy end of the egg to place his head. Head's going to go here. So take another piece of icing, about 10 grams, see it in relation to the egg, so it's not massive, a bit of what's it there. Roll it into a ball and then just place your finger towards the top and just roll it backwards and forwards. So what you're doing, I don't know if you can see that, you're giving it a little shape. So effectively this is where your eyes are going to go, where the sheep's eyes are going to go, and this is its muzzle. Okay? Using our smile tool, if we've got one. If not, we're going to use the pointy, sort of slanted end of our straw, and we're going to give it a face. Again, if you had colours, you could colour his face a light pink colour maybe. This is one that I made earlier. It's not easy to see. I don't know if I can bring it in closer if that helps. But it doesn't matter. Right, so to make his facial features, we are going to go at the side, and then at the side again, and then a little gap for his mouth. Again, that might not be terribly easy to see. Can you see that? What I will do is I will do some instructions and post those onto my Facebook page so that you can look at those in conjunction with the video, because I do appreciate it being my first one as well, that it might not be terribly easy to see. Okay. If you have a pink food colouring pen, you can buy these quite easily in the supermarket. I'm pretty sure they'll still be there, but just have a look, give it a go. You can colour in where his mouth would be, okay, just to add a touch of colour, but you don't have to. So move that away. Next, we're going to give him some eyes. So you want a tiny bit of food colour, ready roll, sorry. Roll it into a ball and then into a sausage, and then we're going to cut it using our knife in half. The reason that we do that is so that we have approximately 2 pieces of icing the same size. Okay, I'm going to roll these into little balls. 1, 2. They will form his eyes. We want to attach the head first. So on the back, so where we've got the shape on the front here, I'm going to bring it closer. We've got the shape on the front here. That's clearly the front where we put his mouth. The back is flat. So we're going to dip in chocolate. Can you see that? We've got a nice, and then nice covering of chocolate. Attach it so that the fatter part of the head is at the bottom. Where his eyes are going to go, just because it's already indented, if you just want to use your fingers to just gently press, you can reshape a little bit as well. That will mould on as the chocolate sets. Okay, and you use this opportunity if you want to add a bit more shape. Okay, so we've got quite a big head at the moment, but that's okay. So for his eyes, gently flatten the balls. Okay? This is tricky. Tiny bit of chocolate on the back. Tiny. Literally. Tiny dot. Can you see that? To stick the eyes on. Okay, there's one there. Tiny. And one there. Now, if you've got these black sugar pearls, I can't show you those. They're perfect. They're perfect for eyeballs. Again, you can pick these up at most supermarkets, online. Because your icing is still quite warm from your hands, you should just be able to press the sugar pearl in. If you don't have those, use your black edible marker, the thick end, and we just push that in and give it a twist. Okay? And we've got two eyes. Hard to tell the difference actually, isn't it? If you want to, you can use the thin end. I'm not very good at doing this upside down, so I'm going to pick it up and just draw a little bit of detail around the eyes, just giving some definition. If you want to leave it till later to do, where the icing's hardened up a bit, that's fine, because you do have to have ever such a light touch, otherwise your pen does sink in. So he's now got a little face. Okay, that's that. You can obviously use Fimo clay to make things like this. Obviously you can't eat it, but you can use the same techniques for Fimo clay. Lastly, for his head and for the icing, we're going to make some ears. So you just want to pull off a couple of bits. About that size. Try and get them as even as you can. Roll them into balls. Flatten them. It's stuck to my hand. I'll do that again. Roll it into a ball. Flatten it. You just shape it a little bit by curling the edges slightly. I'll show you that. Can you see that? I've just curled it in a bit. Roll it. Oops, flatten it. Just curl the edges in a little bit. And then using the thin pointier end, yeah, gently just dip that in chocolate a tiny bit and attach to the head. Yeah. Now luckily he's a comedy sheep, so therefore he's got comedy ears. There's no right or wrong answer, so just have a go. And if you don't like it, take them off. Obviously you will have to cover up the chocolate, but you can do that quite easily. Okay, a sheep with comedy ears. They all look different, don't they? Right. I've added hair on this one. I don't know if you can see that right at the front. You see? And how I've done that is I've taken any leftover bits of icing that I've got, rolled them into sausages, like this, thin sausages, kind of folded them in half, like that, and then stuck them on just where the excess chocolate is. Yeah? Again, no right or wrong answer. It doesn't really matter, and you can be as creative as you like here. Okay, so we'll carry on with that later. Now, I've done this one all in white marshmallows, but actually, why not use pink as well? Take your marshmallows. Oh look, my it's flopping over a little bit because it's heavy. Cut them in half. You're going to need, I don't know, maybe 30 marshmallows, something like that. Chop them in half or thereabouts, and then pick up your sheet, starting from the bottom, dip and stick. Oops. As the chocolate cools down, it will stick. And try and be as neat as you can with getting the chocolate on the marshmallow. And you just carry on with that until your sheet is all covered. I would suggest trying not to be too uniform with the rows, so you vary where you put them and giving a bit more texture. Otherwise your sheet might end up look like it's come straight out of the hairdressers with his rollers in. You could, if you don't have any mini marshmallows, for example, you could try using the flump sweets, the cut up sweets. They would give a bit more colour. You could use white chocolate if you haven't got any brown, and actually that would give you a bit of a cleaner look. And that pretty much is it. Hopefully, items that you already have in your store cupboard, I'll finish mine off later. I will do a full list of ingredients and equipment that you'll need on my Facebook page, SarahJane Creates. And have fun. Try and stay safe. Thank you for watching from SarahJane Creates.